Hi and welcome to the podcast. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Ravelry as K10, that's K10, and on Instagram as Skein. Hope you're all doing really well. Today is the 30th of August and it's a Friday and it's not a very nice day outside today. It's very windy. Yes, it's very exciting that spring is just around the corner. We have had quite lovely spring type weather, although yes, today's not a great example. Oh, that was my phone. Yeah, I hope you're transitioning well into whatever season you're going into. I am a little bit envious of those of you in the north heading into autumn. I love the edge seasons. I love spring and I love autumn. Not a huge fan of winter, but autumn is a very nice time of year, and of course it's great because you get all the lovely knitting patterns that come out and the feeling of wanting to knit and hibernate, and that's so nice. Whereas spring here, you're sort of getting out into the garden, which is what I've been doing, spending a lot of time outside. I'm still knitting up loads of things. My knitting sort of has gone more towards summer, so I'm knitting a lot of, I'll be showing you, but a lot of little tops, and I've cast on some socks and a shawl. So yeah, hopefully it's not too noisy. We are near a main road here and I've shut all the doors and windows, so hopefully that'll keep the sound out, but anyway, we shall see. So let's talk about what I've been working on. I cast on for the Ripple Crop Top by, what's her name? Jessie Martinson, I believe. It's obviously, lots of people have been knitting this. It's a simple little crop. No, sorry, what am I talking about? No, it's the bralette that I'm knitting. I'm thinking of casting on the crop top, but it's the bralette. And lots of people have knit this. Last week I spoke about the new yarn that we got in, which was the sock, new sock, everyday sock. And I thought I would knit something to sort of highlight what it can do. So I decided to knit the bralette. I am actually knitting it longer because I would never wear a bralette out. Maybe if I was in my 20s, but because I'm in my 40s, I feel like that's not really a look I'm going for. Although, I mean, you could wear it down the beach for sure. But yeah, I kind of wanted something that I could wear around. And now that I'm wearing mohair, I've got mohair in my eyelash. So this is it here. It just kind of looks a bit weird at the moment because it's just one big tube of 3x3 rib. But this is the new yarn. This is the Sencha colorway, which that is like, from what I can see on the screen, that is just flashing like nothing else. It's actually quite a nice subtle lime, but for some reason when I photograph it, it looks really bright, but it's not a bright green color. It's actually quite nice. So I am knitting the body to 12 inches, which is quite long, but of course when you put it on and you stretch it, the length will reduce. So I want it to fit kind of high hip so I can wear it with jeans. I have I think it's a 10 cell shirt which I wear over things like singlet tops, and that's what I thought I could wear over this. Yeah, it's just really basic. I mean, it's just a big tube. I have started working the back. My cat's going into play mode. I've started working the back 1x1 rib, which kind of cinches in the back. It's actually it's a very simple design, but it's very well thought out. So I think you knit that for another inch, and then I start separating for the front and back. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's just one of those patterns that you need when you just want to relax and not really think about what you're knitting. Now she, as in Jessie, the designer, she has come out with the ripple crop top, which is what I've actually bought that pattern because I am going to make it. I really, really like it. I am going to be knitting it out of this yarn, which is, I took this off the shop for myself. This is our top drawer sock, and this is the colour Pixelated, which I really, really love. It was funny, I actually dyed this and it ended up being a bit of a mistake. And I was hanging it out, and I thought I was going to put it in the shop as a one of a kind. My cat's just going crazy, sorry. Riku! Hey! Yeah, but then I fell in love with it, and it's become very, very popular. A lot of people really, really like it. It's just a basic undertone of grey, and then you have speckles of blue and chartreuse and pink. And I think it will look really nice in a ripple crop top. So yeah, that is on my list of things to make. Whether I use this yarn or not, I'll talk about that later, but I have other ideas as well. I was going to take the ripple crop top overseas, and I actually, because we leave in 2 weeks, so I am in a huge dilemma as to what I want to knit. I really would prefer to take one skein of yarn because, as I've said in the past, we are taking one bag each, tiny, it's about yay big backpack, and that's it, and we're going for 3 weeks. So we're riding a motorbike in Greece, and we're taking our motorbike stuff, so gloves, and we're taking our helmets and everything. So it's we've got a lot of things to take, and I've got to be careful because, of course, yarn, when it's in a skein, it's kind of squishy and you can poke it into things, but when it's in a cake, it takes up a lot of space. And I was hoping maybe I could get away with a one skein project, but I just don't know. I was thinking maybe of taking one of the bralettes and knitting on that, but I'm already knitting it, and I kind of feel like it might be a little bit boring to straight away cast on for a new one. I'm also leading on to my next shawl. So last week I said I'm not really knitting many shawls, but then I cast this on and I love it. So this is changing my mind. I think maybe I want to knit another shawl, a brioche shawl, which is why I've just cast on one, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm thinking maybe I could take one of those away. I don't know. Anyway, I'm in a big dilemma, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, sorry, I'm all over the place today. So my next whip is the Dottie, what is it called? Dottie Jane by Leslie Ann Robinson, who is Knit Graffiti on Instagram, and she has the most amazing projects. Lots of colour, lots of brioche, it's just stunning. I've been wanting to knit this for a while. I actually had this shawl printed out for a couple of months now. I'll show you the picture. It's not a great photocopy, obviously, it's just black and white. But it is a mix of lace and brioche. And this is what I've done so far. I am completely and utterly addicted to this. So this is the simple brioche stripe. You have this very simple lace, and then you have the, I'm pretty sure this is called brioche lace. This is the reverse side. I prefer this side. I think it looks fantastic. Brioche is just, I just love it so much. I love the graphic sort of effect that you can get with using different colors, particularly the light and dark, and you have that kind of shadow of the dark poking through. It's just stunning. I am using our top drawer sock. My cat's going nuts. This is a new colorway called Bazaar, and it's very, very saturated. It's got lots of color in there, purples and greens and orange and yellow. And then I am using the golden hour as the contrast, and they're knitting up really nicely. Yeah, it's very addictive. I can't watch TV and knit this though. I need concentration, particularly for this section here. These two sections were really easy. It was just brioche knit and brioche purl and all, and it was one simple increase. And then of course we've got the lace, which was easy, and then we got here, and then it started getting a lot more difficult. There's a lot of brioche increasing and decreasing, and there's one that just blows my mind. It's the 4-stitch decrease, I think it is, brioche decrease, and oh, it's just like, it's a multitude of small steps, and it can be a little bit not confusing, but it's you got to really pay attention to what you're doing. I will say Leslie's pattern, it is Leslie, isn't it? Yes. Leslie's pattern is amazing. I haven't even looked online for any help in doing stitches. My camera was flashing. Hope it's not going to die on me. All of her explanations on how to do all the stitches, it's just very, very clear, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really good. So that's that, and this is my dilemma. I'm starting to knit this and I'm really enjoying it. It takes twice as long to knit, obviously, with brioche, because you're knitting the same row twice. So that's kind of appealing for me, going overseas for almost 4 weeks. It means that the project will take me longer to knit, so I don't have to take as much with me. And I am thinking of continuing on my brioche journey with the Marley shawl, which is a Andrea Mowry. It's a very simple triangular shawl with brioche, and again, that's been in my queue for a very long time. I did cast it on maybe 2 years ago, and I got very confused with the brioche stitch and I put it away. I did actually do the Exploration Station by Stephen West. That was a couple of months ago, and his video on how to do brioche, I got it instantly. It's very, very clear, it's very easy. The way he explained it worked for me. So yeah, I'm thinking I might take that with me. I don't know. It would be 2 skeins of yarn, that's the only problem. I probably will need to pack my bag and see if I have space for it. But yeah, we are also traveling with Emirates, and Emirates doesn't let you take knitting needles. I have taken knitting needles on Emirates flights before and haven't had a problem with it. I think what I might do this time, because I have no bag to check if I am caught at security and they won't let me on. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll take wooden circular needles, the interchangeable set. I'll take the tips off, and I'll put a, what do you call it? An end on it so that the stitches don't come off, and then I'll put the tips in my makeup case, which it was a podcast I was listening to, had done that and suggested that. I think it was Yarnia. Anyway, it was a really good idea, because they just in the x-ray look like makeup pencils, and then when we get to our destination I can put everything back together and away I go. So that's what I think I'll do. But yes, I don't know. It's either going to be the Marley shawl, the ripple crop top. Was there another one? Or I take the bralette, another bralette top. It's very confusing. I'm in a huge dilemma. Because you've got to take something that you're going to be wanting to knit on. I don't want to sit there and think, oh, why didn't I bring this? Anyway. So the other thing that I've cast on is a sock. Next week we are opening up Sock Club, a new sock club. I have sourced some BFL sock, which is this. I won't be stocking BFL in the shop. The BFL will only be available to club members. I've sourced BFL in the past, and the BFL that I have found it was probably good for socks, but didn't feel very nice to knit with. It was very kind of scratchy, and yeah, I didn't really enjoy it very much. Now this one that I have found is really, really nice. It's still very soft, but you can tell it's not merino soft, but it's a lot softer than the BFL that I've had in the past. I think it might be, I don't know how many plies it is actually. It's very tightly plied. I think it's 4 plies, very, very tightly plied. So yes, it's going to make really, really good wearing sock yarn. So yeah, so that's going to be on the shop next week on Friday, and it's a 1 skein only, and this is only for socks. So the colours that I envisage coming up with are going to be bright, they're going to be fun, they're going to be for socks basically. Anyway, so I bought this BFL quite a while ago, and I've test dyed it. It dyes beautifully. As you can see, it takes the colour really, really nicely. This is not a colourway, it's just one that I dyed just for fun, just to see how it took the colour. And then I cast on socks just to test what it was like to knit, and it knits up beautifully. So this is just a very simple ribbon stitch, which I just got out of a stitch dictionary, and I sort of fiddled with the numbers so that it would all fit into a sock. And yeah, it's coming up really nicely. Interesting how it's pulling too, because looking at this yarn I wouldn't have thought that it would pull, because it didn't look like it in the skein. It actually looked like the colours were distributed quite evenly, and it didn't look like it was going to pull, but it did. Just here, which is still not a problem. Socks. So yeah, and that's all I've been working on for the week. Sort of dabbling in a bit of this and a bit of that. I actually had finished a lot of projects last week. As I showed you, there was a ton, which means that I could cast on a few to get going, which is what I had a lot of fun doing this week. There are so many patterns out there that I want to knit. I just wanted to name a couple that I have in my queue. I don't have the picture for this one, but it's the Diaphanous Raglan, again by Jessie Martinson. She's the one who does the bralette and the ripple crop top. She has some really interesting patterns, but that Diaphanous Raglan is really lovely. Again, it's like a crop top. It is a raglan, it has a V-neck, and there's all different types of sleeves that you can do. I really like the flutter sleeve, and the sleeves are actually, so the body is done in a sock yarn, and then the sleeves are knit in mohair lace. So yeah, that's one that's high on my list. That'll be cast on when I get back from overseas. This is one that actually may be a contender for overseas. This is the Droplet Capelet by Denise Bayron. It's gorgeous. You can knit the small size. Well, so you need to measure around your shoulders and your bust, and then you cast on the size that corresponds with that measurement so that you can fit it over your shoulders and wear it like a capelet. I can knit the extra small. It might be a little bit tight, but I can knit that, and that is 1 skein of yarn. So that was the contender to going overseas, because it would only take 1 skein. And this is probably what I would prefer, this small, which is the 2 skein. And I think I would like probably for this to be a little bit longer rather than shorter. But yes, I love it. It just so pretty. Particularly, I mean, like I've mentioned, we don't live in a very cold climate here. That's the small. We don't live in a cold climate, which means that this would actually, I could wear this all year round. You could wear it in summer at night, you could wear it in winter during the day as a little cowl. So yeah, I really want to knit this. And I think I'd like to knit this out of our Daintree base, which is a silky merino bamboo silk, because it has a really nice drape to it. So yeah, I've just got to decide which colour I want to knit. So that's one. I've spoken about the Marley shawl, which is just like I said, very basic brioche triangular shawl. That's high on my list of things I want to take overseas. What else was there? I think that was everything. The Diaphanous Raglan, the Ripple crop top, which I'm already knitting, and yes, the Marley shawl. So yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, just quickly, I forgot to mention last week when I was going through all my Bendigo stuff that I called in to see the Fiberific People's, they're a yarn shop. They had a booth, and yes, they had Chiaogu's needles, and unfortunately when I got there they were pretty much sold out of all of the sizes that I was interested in. They did still have a 3.5 and a 3.25 millimeter. I did try casting on for the shawl, the brioche shawl, with this one, which is 120 centimeters. The cable's way too long. This will be great for sweaters and things that I could even probably knit on this and try it on, because the cord is huge. But I must say, I really enjoyed knitting with it, and I felt it was quite a shame that I had to switch over needles, because I really enjoyed the cable, I really enjoyed the needles. So I've always wanted to try Chiaogu. That's why I went and saw Fiberific, because I knew they had them there, and I will definitely be trying more. The other thing is that I put a call out last week on Instagram about knitting socks, because when I knit socks, I'm finding, okay, so these cables and needles are probably years old, and I know cables have, the technology behind the cables has changed and updated, and a lot of the cables now are much easier to use. They don't have that memory. These ones, I love, what are they called? The needles that I use, Harmony needles, Knit Pro. I really do love their brand. I knit with them a lot. I have a whole interchangeable set and I use them often. But unfortunately I have found that the cables for sock knitting are very stiff, and it loops up and it's just a nightmare. Anyway, I put a call out to see what people could recommend, and a lot of people spoke about these needles that have come out. I'm pretty sure it was with Higher. And they're almost like double pointed. They're kind of a hybrid between double pointed and magic loop, where there's sort of two needles and they're attached by this little cable in between, and you're knitting, you have two of the needles together with the stitches on. So you would have one half of the needle, one needle set in holding half the stitches and the other one holding the other half, and with a third needle you knit around, if that makes sense. Anyway, I actually did buy some from Yarn Glorious Yarn, who is probably one of our closest yarn stores. So I'm waiting for those to come in, and I can't wait to try them and talk about them. Okay, so hope you're doing really well, and yeah, feel free to subscribe, and if you have any comments, please put them down below. It's always really nice to talk to you guys and have comments, so yeah, feel free to do that. And yeah, until next week, which I will I will do a final podcast next week before we go away on holidays, just to catch up and all that, because I won't be seeing you for, I think it's 4 weeks. But anyway, yes, until then, have a great week and a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.